Picture the biggest truck the world had ever seen. Not big for a truck, big for anything that moves on rubber tires. A machine so tall, a grown man standing next to the wheel barely reaches the center of the hub. A machine that could swallow 350 tons of solid rock in a single load and still climb out of the pit. A machine powered not by a truck engine, not even by a big truck engine, but by the actual heart of a railroad locomotive. And here is the part nobody tells you. General Motors built exactly one of them. One, a single hand-assembled prototype that was supposed to launch an empire of giant mining trucks. Instead, it became a one-of-a-kind legend that held the title of largest truck on Earth for 25 straight years, then quietly retired to a small town in Canada where it still sits today. This is the Terex 3319 Titan, and the story of how it was built, why it failed, and why it still matters is stranger than anything the marketing brochures ever admitted. Before we get into it, do me a favor. Drop a comment with the machine you want us to cover next. The comment with the most likes becomes our next video. Now, let's count them down. Fact number 20. It was never supposed to be one of a kind. Here is the cruel irony at the center of this whole story. The Titan was not a museum piece by design. It was a business plan. In the early 1970s, General Motors looked at the mining industry and made a prediction. They believed the quality of ore in the ground was going to keep dropping, which meant mines would have to dig and haul far more raw material just to get the same amount of usable metal and coal. On top of that, everyone expected a boom in mining tar sands and oil shale. More dirt to move meant bigger trucks to move it. So GM designed the Titan as the flagship of a whole family of haulers, the top of the Terex 33 series. It was meant to roll off an assembly line by the hundreds. That future never arrived. But the machine did. Fact number 19. It was built in Canada, not the American heartland. When you think of American industrial muscle, you picture Detroit or Peoria. But the Titan was assembled at General Motors Diesel Division's plant in London, Ontario, Canada. That location was not random. London was where GM built and understood the technology that would make the Titan possible, and it kept the project close to the diesel-electric expertise the company had spent decades developing. The prototype rolled out of that Canadian factory in the middle of 1974, and when it did, the people who saw it in person struggled to describe the scale. Photographs did not do it justice. You had to stand under it. Fact number 18. Its engine came straight out of a locomotive. This is the fact that separates the Titan from every ordinary dump truck. Most giant haulers of that era used massive diesel engines built specifically for trucks. GM went a different direction entirely. They reached into their own locomotive division and pulled out an Electro-Motive Division 16-cylinder two-stroke diesel, the same basic prime mover family that pulled freight trains across the continent. This was the 16645E4, 16 cylinders, over 10,000 cubic inches of displacement, roughly 169 liters. To put that in human terms, a single one of the Titan cylinders displaced more than the entire engine of most family cars. This was not a truck with a big motor. This was a locomotive that happened to have a dump bed. Fact number 17. It made 3,300 horsepower at a lazy 900 RPM. The Titan's engine produced a gross output of around 3,300 horsepower. But the number that tells the real story is the RPM. That locomotive diesel made its power turning at only about 900 revolutions per minute, and it idled down around 300. Your car engine spins 2,000 or 3,000 RPM just cruising down the highway. The Titan loafed along at a fraction of that, producing enormous, unstoppable low-speed grunt. That is the entire philosophy of heavy diesel power. It was never about spinning fast. It was about turning slow and refusing to stop, no matter how many tons you piled on top of it. Fact number 16. There was no driveshaft. It ran on electricity. Here is where the locomotive DNA really shows. In a normal truck, the engine connects through a transmission and drive shafts to the wheels. The Titan threw that whole idea out. The diesel engine did not drive the wheels at all. Instead, it spun a giant generator, and that generator produced electricity, and that electricity fed electric motors mounted right at the rear wheels. This is called diesel-electric drive, and it is exactly how a train works. There was no conventional gearbox to blow up, no massive drive shaft to snap under load, just electricity flowing from the engine to the wheels. It was elegant, it was proven railroad technology, and in a truck this size, it was the only thing that made sense. Fact number 15. It had 3 axles and steered in a way nobody expected. Almost every giant mining truck you see today rides on 2 axles. The Titan used 3. The single front axle steered and the 2 rear axles carried the load and the drive motors, one electric motor spinning each rear wheel. That 3-axle layout spread the crushing weight of a full load across more tires and more ground, which mattered enormously when the loaded machine weighed as much as it did. This configuration made the Titan instantly recognizable. Even from a distance, its long 3-axle stance looked different from anything else in the pit. It looked less like a truck and more like a building that had decided to go for a drive. Fact number 14. Its tires were taller than a person. The Titan rolled on massive 40 by 57 tires. Each one stood taller than a full-grown adult and cost a fortune to replace even back then. On a machine like this, tires are not an afterthought. They are one of the single most expensive consumable parts you deal with, and they are constantly being chewed up by sharp rock, heat, and the sheer weight pressing down on them. When people visit the Titan today, the tires are the first thing that breaks their brains. You walk up expecting a big wheel, and instead you are staring at a wall of rubber you cannot see over. Fact number 13. Fully loaded, it weighed over 600 tons. Let's talk real numbers, because this is where the Titan stops sounding like a truck and starts sounding like a small ship. Empty, the machine weighed in the neighborhood of 255 tons. That is the empty weight, before you put a single scoop of dirt in it. Its payload capacity was 350 short tons. Add those together, and a fully loaded Titan tipped the scales at roughly 600 tons. Over 1.2 million pounds rolling across the mine floor. For comparison, that loaded weight is heavier than a fully loaded jumbo jet. And unlike a jet, the Titan carried all of that on the ground, on tires, grinding through rock day after day. Fact number 12. Loaded, it could still hit nearly 30 miles per hour. You would forgive a 600-ton machine for crawling. The Titan didn't. Fully loaded, it had a top speed of just under 30 miles per hour. That does not sound fast until you remember what is moving. Getting over 500,000 pounds of payload up to highway-ish speeds and then stopping it again is a genuine feat of engineering. That electric drive delivered smooth, relentless acceleration, and the machine's braking had to be equally serious. In mining, speed on the haul road is money. The faster a truck completes each cycle, from the shovel to the dump and back, the more material it moves per shift. The Titan was built to move a lot and move it quickly. Fact number 11. It drank fuel by the barrel. All that power came at a cost, and the cost was fuel. The Titan consumed diesel at a rate of roughly 70 gallons per hour under working conditions. Its fuel tank held around 800 gallons. Think about that. In a single long shift of hard hauling, this one machine could burn through hundreds of gallons of diesel. Feeding a Titan was a logistical operation all by itself. And this detail becomes important later, because fuel economy and operating cost are exactly the kind of unglamorous numbers that decide whether a machine lives or dies in the real world. Horsepower gets the headlines. Fuel bills win the argument. Fact number 10. A golf legend once teed off from its dump bed. In 1977, Terex put the Titan in a television commercial, and they did not do it quietly. They brought in Jack Nicklaus, one of the greatest golfers who ever lived. The commercial opened with Nicholas standing inside the Titan's enormous, loaded dump bed, casually hitting golf balls out into the distance, using the bed of the world's largest truck as his personal tee box. It was a brilliant piece of marketing. It communicated the sheer scale of the machine in a way no spec sheet ever could. If a professional golfer can stand in the bed and take full swings, you understand instantly that this thing is on a completely different level from any truck you have ever seen.
Fact number 9. Its first job was hauling iron ore in the California desert. The Titan did not spend its life as a show pony. It went to work. In January of 1975, the machine was put into service with Kaiser steel at the Eagle Mountain iron ore mine in the California desert. This was a brutal proving ground. Heat, dust, and endless hauling. Over roughly 4 years at Eagle Mountain, the Titan moved approximately 3.5 million tons of earth. That is a staggering amount of material for a single machine, especially a hand-built prototype that had no siblings, no spare unit to swap in, and no assembly line churning out replacement parts. Every day it ran was a day GM's experiment was being tested against reality. Fact number 8. It broke down. A lot. Especially at first. Here is the truth the brochures skipped. In its early years, the Titan suffered frequent downtime. And this is not a knock on the engineering so much as the reality of building exactly one of something. When you produce a single prototype, there is no fleet to learn from, no library of common failures, no warehouse of ready parts. Every problem is a new problem, solved slowly, often with custom fabrication. A conventional mining truck that broke down could be fixed with parts off a shelf. When the Titan broke, crews sometimes had to wait, improvise, or manufacture what they needed. For a machine meant to make money by moving material, time spent sitting still was the enemy. And early on, it sat still too often. Fact number 7. Then it moved to Canada and finally proved itself. The story does not end with the breakdowns, and this is important. In late 1978, the Titan was relocated north to a coal mining operation in Sparwood, British Columbia, Canada. And over the following years, as crews learned the machine and worked out its quirks, the Titan came into its own. Under the ownership of Westar Mining, the truck achieved an uptime rate of more than 70%, which for a one-off prototype is genuinely impressive. It regularly hauled loads that met and even exceeded its 350-ton weighting. The machine that had struggled in the desert became a dependable workhorse in the mountains. It just took time, patience, and operators who understood it. Fact number 6. Late in life, they pushed it past its limits, and the frame paid the price. By the 1980s, crews had grown so confident in the Titan that they started loading it heavier than it was ever designed to carry, with reports of loads approaching 420 tons. That is well beyond the machine's rated capacity, and the Titan handled it, but not without consequences. That extra weight, dumped load after load, began causing cracking and stress damage at the rear of the frame during the dumping cycle. It is a perfect illustration of a truth in heavy equipment. Every machine has a limit, and the Titan's operators found its limit the hard way, by exceeding it. The frame that held the world's biggest load could only be pushed so far before it started to protest. Fact number 5. It held the title of world's largest truck for 25 years. This is the record that makes the Titan immortal. From the moment it was built in the early 1970s, the Terex Titan was the largest, highest capacity haul truck on the entire planet. And it did not hold that title for a year or two, it held it for 25 years. An entire generation of mining came and went, and nothing anyone built could top it. It was not until September of 1998 when Caterpillar introduced the 797 with its 360-ton capacity that the Titan was finally dethroned. Think about that. A single hand-built prototype set a world record and then defended it for a quarter of a century against every manufacturer on Earth. Fact number 4. The market it was built for never showed up.
So why did GM only ever build one? The answer is timing, and it is heartbreaking. The Titan was engineered for a future that did not happen. GM had bet on soaring demand, on lower-grade ore and a tar sands boom that would force mines to haul more than ever. Instead, in the late 1970s, the worldwide coal market softened. Mines pulled back. Rather than buying enormous, unproven super trucks, operators chose to rebuild the equipment they already had, or buy smaller haulers with a track record. The projected wave of orders for the Titan never materialized. GM had estimated the truck would sell for around $1.5 million in the mid-70s. But when almost no one is buying, price barely matters. The line never opened. The prototype stayed the only one.
Fact number 3. It came from the ashes of a bitter antitrust battle. The Titan's family tree runs straight through one of the most famous corporate fights in American industry. General Motors got into the earth-moving business by buying the Euclid Road Machinery Company back in 1953. Under GM, Euclid expanded aggressively into bulldozers and giant mining trucks. But that dominance drew the attention of the United States government, which came after GM on antitrust grounds and eventually forced the company to divest. GM had to give up the Euclid name, and in response, it created a new brand for the equipment it was allowed to keep. That brand was Terex, from the Latin words for earth and king. Earth King. The Titan was, quite literally, born under that name because the government had taken the old one away. Fact number 2. GM eventually sold the whole giant truck operation off. The Titan's corporate story kept twisting long after the prototype went to work. General Motors did not hold on to its super hauler division forever. In the mid-1980s, GM sold the Titan operation to Letourneau, another legendary name in heavy equipment. Letourneau took the engineering DNA of the smaller trucks in the 33 series and developed it into its own line of large mining haulers in the years that followed. So while only one Titan was ever built, the knowledge and the technology behind it did not simply vanish. It got absorbed, passed along, and folded into machines that came later. The Titan was a dead end as a product, but its ideas kept traveling through the industry long after the prototype parked for good. Fact number 1. It is still here, and it became the heart of an entire town. Most one-off prototypes get scrapped, cut up, melted down, forgotten. The Titan almost shared that fate when it was retired from service in 1991. But the community of Sparwood, British Columbia, refused to let it die. After Tech Corporation offered the truck for preservation in the early 1990s, the local Chamber of Commerce raised the funds, restored the Titan to its original green livery, and put it on permanent public display. And today, it is not just a museum piece. It is the symbol of the entire town. People drive for hours to stand next to it, to crane their necks up at those tires, to feel just how small a human being is beside the largest truck the world ever built. A machine that failed as a business became a landmark that outlived the companies that made it. So that is the Terex 3319 Titan, a locomotive disguised as a dump truck, a prototype that was meant to be the first of thousands and ended up being the only one. A machine built for a future that never came, that struggled, that broke down, that got pushed past its limits, and that still refused to be forgotten. It held the crown as the biggest truck on Earth for 25 years, and when it finally lost that title, it did not go to the scrapyard. It became a monument. There is a lesson buried in the Titan, the same lesson that runs through the whole history of heavy equipment. The biggest is not always the best. The most powerful does not always win. Sometimes the machine that changes the world is the one that proved an idea could exist at all, even if the world was not ready to buy it. The Titan proved that a truck this size was possible. Everyone who built a giant hauler after it was, in some small way, standing in its shadow. If you enjoyed this one, remember to drop a comment with the machine you want us to cover next. Hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video.